Every day you would come to school, you would boycott your lessons, but you were here every single day, disciplined, come to school, go home, come back the next day.
Discuss the same issues.
Discuss the issues.
Yeah.
How did you influence other schools to get involved with the boycott? Because other schools joined the boycott in solidarity or an understanding that they were also under the same problem as you.
Yes, as cocky as we were, as arrogant as we were, because we thought that we are the cream of the school. So the Form 2, 3, and A's, from 2B, Form 3, Form 2B, Form 2C, Form 1B, Form 1A, we had to first start at the school and recruit them to join us because we thought we knew too much, we were better off. So we had to say, look, you guys, you have to join us. And these classes that are on the behind, that's where the other students were. So for the first time else, we had to do away with the superiority complex, and we talked to them and say, guys, we need a united front. In fact, the school was so overcrowded that the Form 1 classes were not here. We were at the school which was called Kanya Primary School, next to Orlando Stadium. So we were squatters there. So we had to go there and ask the Form 1s to join us, and then they joined us. Then what transpired, the school board didn't come into the rescue. And also the principal couldn't, because I think he was afraid of the school inspectors. I think it was a certain Mr. Pierre, because he kept on telling us that Mr. Pierre, this and this and that. We thought that that was enough. Then that's when, in May, we decided that this passive resistance is not taking us very far. And really, the system was so absurd and insane in the sense that the same school, we have two medium of instructions. The senior students, the Form 3, were using English as a medium of instruction.
Yeah.
The junior students are using Afrikaans. Does it make sense? The senior students really don't want to join us and help us. They said to us, it's not our business. We are carrying on with our education. We are using English. We are not using Afrikaans. And all the high schools in Soweto were using English, including our sister school, Orlando West, on my right, including Maurice Isaacson, including Naledi. They were using English because they were high schools.
Yes.
So what we decided to do then, I think it was May the 17th or so, that we said, no, we are going out in the open now. It's no longer passive resistance, it's public now. And then we went and said, we are now officially on strike. And we then went out to all the other higher primary schools and the junior secondary schools, which were used sort of as guinea pigs for implementing this policy decision, and ask them and say, guys, we are all together, we are one, can we? And then I think the best thing that ever happened was the world newspapers covered all those events.
And it's well documented, and thank goodness we had the world newspapers like that. They were able to show us how far back this protest actually started. What about parents and teachers? Were they ever coming into the classroom saying, we beg of you, please stop the boycott of classes, let's carry on? Was there ever that pressure put on you?
Well, the teachers themselves had their own struggle because they know that in terms of the Bantu Education Department, they will be really in big trouble in the sense that they'll be accused of being the ringleaders, the people who are fermenting, the people who are influencing us. So in a sense, they had to be clever about it. Though they were supporting us, they didn't have to be overt about it. Remember, they were also challenged in the sense that, I mean, basically the very same teacher, he was teaching the senior students. The teacher knows that in terms of continuity, it makes sense that when I go and teach the Form 3 students, I will say to them in terms of continuing. Remember, we did this in Form 1 and Form 2. We are now doing this at a higher level in Form 3. This is what we need to say. But basically, the very same teacher is teaching us in Form 1 and Form 2, but is using Afrikaans. He cannot say it to us, or she cannot say it to us. Remember in 1975, when we were using English as a medium of instruction, this is what I taught you. Now, this is what I mean. She had to express herself in Afrikaans.
That's right.
She can't now. Therefore, there's no continuity. Therefore, it means, therefore, the teachers themselves were in the same boat as us, and therefore they could not really support what was happening. But at the same time, they could not be overt about it, because I must say, I'm giving due to them, you know, in a sense that they did allow us to loiter around the premises, you know, looking after us, that, you know, we are disciplined, you know, from March, April, until in May, when we were overt, when we were public about it. So in a sense, they knew we were around. Remember then, you had to mark the register and all that. So probably they did mark.
Yeah, you were all present, you were there. If we could move to June then, and particularly that fateful Wednesday, June the 16th, yes, and the march itself that took place. Now, the popular narrative is that Morris Isaacson, Naledi, Orlando West were the schools that started the march. But obviously the root, the foundation of the protest was here, yes, in this classroom.
You know, when that interpretation, there's danger in terms of that interpretation, because it falls within the analysis that the Soweto uprisings were spontaneous, you know, which is not necessarily the case. As I said, as from March, February, May, April, May, we were really dealing.
It started
before then. Then what transpired? Come June, we see our senior students here writing their half-yearly examination, and we're saying this is unfair. They are carrying on with their lives, and we are here. We are not being taken care of as far as our needs. Then what we are going to do, we're going to be violent now. I had a cousin sister who was doing Form 3, so it didn't matter. So we went inside their classroom, we took their scripts, their exam scripts, we tore them. We asked them that, yes, we might be younger than you guys, but please just go out of the classroom and stop writing exams, stop selling out. So you are now part of us, whether you like it or not. Then because of that action, they joined us. And then as a group, as a school, then, that was in June, then we had to approach our next door neighbors, the high school. And we said the same thing. Stop writing exams. This is a huge issue. It affects us all as African students. They listened, they joined us. So one thing led to another thing. Then all the high schools, then Morris Isaacsons and everybody, as senior students, suddenly they understood what was happening. And amongst us, we mandated Seth Mazibugu to represent us when now come June, all the students in Soweto were now acting as a united front. And that's when now we said, as young students, we've done our bit. The senior students in high schools around Soweto, they are more matured politically, then they will move us in terms of the next step. But we were represented in the local organization that they formed by Seth Mazibugu.
Seth Mazibugu was a student of this school.
Of this school, yes. And there was another student, if I remember her name, is Anastasia Zulu, yeah, a female student. So those were the students that even the school across the museum, the Anglican Church, they then Bele higher primary schools, they were had a representative. So towards students, I think over the weekend, I think the 13th or whatever, they had a meeting at Orlando DOCC planning going forward in terms of what are we going to do. Then we decided that we had to go on strike. memorandum that will take to the regional Bantu education offices in Poissons. So the date was the 16th, and all the students in Soweto will march and go there to present that memorandum.